We did a number of interviews with a number of UFO and paranormal researchers, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. We're also going to get to the mythical, or I don't know what else to call it, but the David Paulides controversy that seemed to emanate from this event. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Encounters USA with author Matthew Hines. If you're looking for alien incidents, Bigfoot brouhahas, or dogman dealings, we have the podcast interviews, field research, and field interviews you're gonna love. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and check us out on Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Encounters USA. I'm your host, author Matthew Hines. Today we got a really nice show for you. We went down to Ocean Shores and we did a number of interviews with a number of UFO and paranormal researchers. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. We're also going to get to the mythical, or I don't know what else to call it, but the David Paulides controversy that seemed to emanate from this event. I'm going to explain things from my side, and I hope that at some point Mr. Paulides will come and explain things from his side, because it didn't make a lot of sense to me. So along with all of that, I just want to mention that we have our new t-shirts with our new logo all ready to go. If you're interested, they're $19.99 on our website. We have sizes from medium, I believe, all the way up to double extra large. So, and don't forget, we're almost at 1 year anniversary. So at 1 year, we're going to be sending out some free t-shirts to some of our favorite subscribers, some of our favorite commenters, and this means you, Carla Lappin, and also McBrainiac, and a few others like Lynn M, and a few of our favorite posters on our YouTube videos. So it's really been an exciting year, and I want to thank everybody for all that you've done to help to make it so. So now, on with the video, on with the controversy. So let's start off by saying that I was asked by Michael Hall to go to the Paranormal Summit and be a roving reporter. According to Michael, I had carte blanche to interview anybody that I wanted to. So therefore, armed with that, I finally had an interview, or a chance to interview, one of my personal heroes, and that is Mr. David Paulides. So on the day of the event, I hopped in my car, and I didn't just hop in my car because I have to interview and I have to have my computer and lights and all the things that I have to take with me, along with clothes, etc., etc. It takes a while to get packed. So by the time I actually arrived at Ocean Shores, it was about 2:30 or 3 o'clock. I hadn't eaten all day. I hadn't slept much the night before, just thinking about, okay, what am I going to ask my hero, Mr. David Paulides? So armed with that information, now you're ready to watch the first part of this amazing video and podcast. When I started doing Encounters USA almost a year ago, I knew I'd have some exciting times, and I sure hoped I would get to meet some of the people that I had seen and heard talking and discussing different ideas over the years. And so it was with great pleasure when Michael Hall of the UFO I-Team asked me to come down to the Paranormal Summit at Ocean Shores and be their basically videographer and man-on-the-spot reporter, collecting stories and getting interviews with people that are going on. And so I headed south from the comfort of my home in near the Seattle area and headed very far south in southwestern Washington to Ocean Shores, where I just didn't know what exactly was going to be waiting for me. Now, as we're driving south, I just want to point out that the coronavirus has started to pick up, and so there's a lot of question as to how many people are even going to come to this conference. So it's a big question mark as I make my way south. And another thing that I'm really enjoying as I'm driving along is the fact that I had left a very dark and dreary Seattle, and look at the blue sky overhead. So it looks like I'm having a great day as I pull into the Quinault Beach Casino and Lodge. And I don't know what's going on with that car, but I wish them luck in their driving. So we pull into the Quinault Beach Resort and Casino, and as you see, there's Bigfoot on the right. It's a caution sign, watch out, and watch out for that alien over there in the bushes. This must be the right place. So as we get closer to the casino, we're also getting closer to the point of starting. And as I had communicated with Michael on my way during the almost 3-hour drive, he made it clear that he would like me to come here and start videotaping the action as soon as possible. So that was my objective as I filming the UFO I-Team car and making my way into the casino proper. Now, as I go in, I notice there is no doorman to open the door, so that I have to hold my iPhone and then wait for these elderly ladies to leave the casino in order for me to be able to get in unmolested with my phone. So now I'm going to make my way through the Quinault Beach Casino and Lodge and make my way towards the center of all of the action. But before I reach the center of all the action, I just want you to notice that there is a lovely, lovely gift shop that precedes the going into the event itself. And here you have all of your vendors. And look at that. There's Daryl Sims waiting, standing by. So already things are happening now. Daryl Sims is the UFO hunter, and I walk into the room, and oh boy, look at that. There's David Paulides and Johnny Manson, and they're standing over there. And I think I need to go give Johnny a hard time because he didn't make my appointment. So I'm going to come over here and see if I can't get him for missing my podcast. So here's Johnny, and here's Mr. David Paulides.
Yeah. If you need an extra, let me know. Or even a bag bitch. I'd be a for you. I'll carry your bags.
How you guys doing? I think you look familiar. I swear I've seen you before.
Me or him?
So both of you,
He's the boss.
No.
Is he the boss?
No, he is.
No,
the
they
big
came
boss.
to see
Is
him.
he? Did they? Well, actually, I came to yell at him.
Oh, great.
Because we did a podcast the other night and you didn't show up.
When did I not show up?
Oh, Tuesday night we were announcing this thing and publicizing
I
it. Where's
texted
Johnny?
you.
Texted me what? I'm dogging you? Not going to show up?
No,
Hi, David.
I said.
It's very nice to meet you. I'm Matt Hines.
We're not shaking
Oh,
hands.
that's right. I got to discipline
You need to make
myself.
an announcement about that, by the way. Don't shake hands.
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
See.
So it was so interesting to be able to meet Mr. David Paulides and give Johnny Manson a hard time for not showing up to my podcast, but apparently that was my fault, as he explained later on. But next we had to look at the I-Team and their assembly of awards. Look at this spread. All of these awards are going to be given out tonight, hopefully, and boy, there's going to be a lot of people to receive them. And there again is the alien hunter, Mr. Daryl Sims, with Mr. David Paulides. I believe that's Peter Davenport. And here I am showing off the worst shirt I have in my whole ensemble.
Welcome.
So by the time I had gotten in and gotten set up, I was just a little bit flustered, a little bit glad. Just everything was set up. I talked to Michael. I talked to the members of the I-Team. And so now it was time for me to do what I came here to do. And that was to go and interview Mr. David Paulides. So I approached his table. Tonight we are at the Ocean Shores Paranormal Summit for 2020. We are in the venue right now, and sitting across from us, we have Mr. David Paulides. Over to this side, we have Michael Hall and Lee Strauss and Dave Mason of the UFO I-Team. Everything is getting ready to go for a fantastic 2020 Paranormal Summit. Now, we're going to be doing a couple of interviews with various individuals. Unfortunately, Mr. Paulides has declined to do an interview for whatever reason. But, I drove all this way to interview Mr. Paulides and doesn't even want to interview. Now, I cannot tell you how a person feels after putting that much effort into getting there as quickly as possible for the sole purpose of doing one thing, and that is to interview one person, and that one person says, and I'm just going to repeat exactly what he said and how he said it. I asked him, Mr. Paulides, would you mind doing an interview? And he says, as he's looking at his phone, the first thing he says is, I'm going to be a while. So obviously he doesn't even want to talk to me. And then I said, well, when you have time, would you care to do an interview with me for Encounters USA? And his response was, and I quote, nah, I don't think so. I drove for 3 hours. I starved myself all day. I was tired. I wanted to eat. I wanted to do so many things. And all of that for, nah, I don't think so. Well, at that point in time, the hunger, the fatigue, the stress, and I just got a very bad feeling about or from Mr. Paulides. So I just said, okay, that's fine, and I walked away. And I just said, well, I won't. I'm never going to deal with this guy anymore. And really, I was tempted to just pack up my stuff and go back home, because what was I there for but to interview Mr. Paulides? So anyway, that's fine. We will have other people that we'll be interviewing. And right now we want to talk to the organizer of this event. We want to talk to Mr. Johnny Manson, and we want to talk to Mr. Michael Hall and find out what the agenda for tonight is. So let's go get those guys and see what's going on here. Oh, look, it's Lee Strauss of the UFO I-Team. Hey, Lee.
Good.
Every time you didn't...
So that's going to be bad if anybody...
See, I'm all white now.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird. Oh, it's okay now. Come here. Oh, well, look who's here. It's Lee Strauss of the UFO I-Team. Hello, Lee.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome to... I guess I'm not welcoming you because you got here first, so you should actually be welcoming me.
Well, okay, then welcome.
Well, thank you.
I'm glad you're here.
It's a pleasure. It's a real pleasure. So what can we expect from you tonight?
From me tonight, I'm going to sit in the background, actually. I'm not getting on stage tonight. I'm going to be filming Michael Hall and some of our other people that are going to be on stage handing out awards tonight.
All right. So what kind of awards are we looking at?
Well, that I will leave up to Michael Hall. There's going to be a Researcher of the Year award and some other amazing awards he's going to be handing out to people all across the world, actually, through Skype. So it'll be pretty cool, I think, all in all.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I am looking forward to that as well. But tomorrow will be the rest of the UFO I-Team's chance to get up on stage and talk about what we have seen in the last year, what we've recorded, which a lot you have been present for.
That's right. What an honor.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
I'm not going to be on stage.
No.
Yeah. So if anybody's booking tickets to see me on stage, just forget it. Not this one. So, all right. So, and there she is, Mary
Kennedy.
Conterari. Come here. We're doing a little
thing. I'm going to step out of the picture and let her in.
Oh, well, Mary, it's been a long time.
Days.
Can you come into my shot here?
I don't know. Can I?
You're right. If you stand right here, you'll be good. All right. So, Mary, we talked the other night about the Paranormal Summit, and here we are. You know, you're lovelier in person than you are on Skype, and isn't that's hard to believe, but it's true. So, well, Mary, what are you're going to be? I don't want to say babysitting, but you're going to be watching the UFO I-Team's booth tonight. Any other duties?
I don't know. Just whatever Michael decides he needs help with.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of taking my cues from him right now.
Okay. Nervous?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Okay.
Just looking forward to a good time.
All right. Well, Mary Kennedy, nice to see you again.
You too.
All right. We'll see you. We're going to bring Michael over here in a second. All right, so that is what we have going so far. We're going to bring Michael Hall over here in a few minutes, and then we're going to talk to Johnny Manson, the event organizer, wherever he is. And I wish I would stop fading to white, but what can I do about that? So I was waiting for Michael Hall to come over and enlighten me as to what was going on, but he was too busy joking around with the pretty ladies of the I-Team.
The Board of Governors, just to give an idea of the people that were involved from the very beginning of this project. 2 weeks ago, by the way, some crazy guy came up with an idea in the middle of the night and woke up Mary at the same time with the same idea.
And then he told me live about it.
Yes, I did. And now, then we're going to go to, for instance, the Academy of Paranormal Arts and Sciences Special Recognition Awards. To initially, right off the bat, we're going to give awards to the presenters that are presenting to the conference here. We're going to get them out of the way early and present them with awards. Who knows? But if they're not, we will save their award, because I know David Paulides has to do something until 7:30. He won't be available to come back here until 7:30. So when David comes back, you guys can help me, by the way. If you see David Paulides, 7:30, 7:45, because it's only going to go till 8. We have another presentation, another speaker coming on at 8 until 9.
And so I just wanted to make sure that people understood that Encounters USA was also in the house. So I left my
two special
shirt hanging and
awards for the Lifetime Achievement Award. One of them is here live. I'm not going to tell you who it is. The other one is going to appear via Skype. Oh. Then you've got if we have time. Now, here's the deal. We don't have no idea how long this is going to take. I have no idea if it's even going to work, right? If we're going to get connectivity. Like right now, we're live on Facebook. I'm amazed that it's still working, right? Matthew Hines.
Yep.
Slide right in here, buddy.
All right. So
listen, I tell you what. This is fantastic that you were able to. Now, I literally pulled you out of your normal everyday life
you have no
about
idea.
24 hours ago.
Yep.
And I said, Matt, I need your help.
Yep.
And here you are. Thank you so much.
When Michael Hall comes, I come running. Well, Michael, I owe you for introducing me into the I-Team.
That's right.
And accepting me in spite of my shortcomings and whatever else they say. But Michael, so we're here, Paranormal Summit 2020.
Yeah.
And I've had a nice chat with Mary Kennedy. So
Yes, you did. That was a wonderful interview.
So you are going to fill in the blanks where Mary did a great job, but we still have some things that we still don't know.
Yeah.
So right now, tonight is Friday night.
Yes.
And so tonight is going to be...
Oh my gosh, it's 4:30 already. We've got an hour and a half before 6 o'clock and showtime.
Oh boy, showtime. Okay, so the first thing is let's talk about the event that you're doing tonight. This is normally the UFO Paranormal Summit.
Yes. At Quinaul Beach, right?
Yep. And so we're going to bring Johnny out here to talk about the history of that.
Yeah.
What we want to talk about is you brainstormed, well, we have this Paranormal Summit. Let's have Academy Awards. Let's have the Academy of Arts and Sciences.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if you saw the podcast.
I did.
But I
really loved it.
Well, I started thinking, well, like it's an academy, like, you're going to
You're going to have classes
open a
and
school.
stuff, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Not that academy, like the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
The Golden Globes and stuff. The paranormal itself needs some awards ceremonies that on an annual basis, there are people out there in various fields, not just UFOs, research scientists, let's put it that way, right? Mm-hmm. People in cryptids, in ghosts, multidimensional researchers and authors, and all sorts of stuff that just don't get recognized.
Exactly, and that is the thing about tonight is about recognition. Never before has anybody received any award for anything involved in the paranormal. You just thought it up and did it. Just like Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now.
Oh, yeah.
Thought it up and did it.
Well, I tell you what, it was a download. Sunday, 2 weeks ago, 3:30 in the morning or so, all of a sudden I go, whoa, nobody's ever done an Academy Awards ceremony for the paranormal.
Yeah.
And you were the guy that I needed to talk to about this because you can put this whole thing together with the video and the production that you have, the quality. So I called you immediately to get you involved.
Yeah. And I'm really excited about it. So I think beyond anything else, you've got the motivation.
Thank you.
So, Michael, what's the outlook for tonight? Now, Mary says that this is this is a new thing.
Yeah.
So this is basically a dry run. So what do you expect tonight? And it really so far looks successful. People are showing up. So what do you expect tonight?
This is a lot of angst and anxiety for a very first opening night kind of ceremony, right? But we literally, the Facebook page at the Academy of Paranormal Arts and Sciences on Facebook has just gone crazy. People have joined it all over the world and have nominated people in various categories to receive the Cosmo Awards in their category. And so we consequently have people now Skyping in to accept their awards tonight from around the world, Australia, UK, Pascagoula, Mississippi, there's a clue for you, and some other folks around the planet, and some heavyweight folks have thrown their support behind this entire event. I'm just humbled and honored that some of these people have come out of the woodwork for the very first time to kind of come together and celebrate the paranormal.
Yep. So, what are some of the awards, let's talk about the awards first. What awards are going to be presented tonight?
We have on the Facebook page, they can see all the categories, but we will not have enough time in 2 hours to present them all. So you're going to have to go to the Facebook page to find them all. But we're talking Researcher of the Year Award.
Okay.
We're talking some in memoriam awards to people who have passed, that have put decades and decades of work in that really probably hadn't been recognized. We have a whole category of that. We've got.
Can you give us an example?
Well, how about Stanton Friedman?
Yeah.
How about George Adamski?
Yeah.
The author that wrote one of those phenomenal contact books back in the old days. We've got those, historical names that we're going to be mentioning and giving awards to. And we've got, you're going to love this, we've got a Young Guns Award.
Really?
Which is a term of art that Grant Cameron kind of coined last year about the young researchers out there that are on social media that they can find information that no one has ever found about some of these whistleblowers and smoking gun memos out there. So we're going to have the Young Guns Award. We're going to have Book of the Year, Song of the Year. How about the Paranormal Song of the Year Award? Wow. We've got nominations from Stairway to Heaven, right? Those kinds of rock songs and all sorts of stuff. So it's going to be fascinating.
All right. So I was talking to Mary about one category I want to see is, a lot of these guys that are getting awards are the big shots.
Yeah.
The Paulides, the Popes.
Yeah.
But what about
the politest, the popes?
the Popes? Yeah. So, I've got a few Pope jokes for the for the Popester if he ever shows up. Anyway, I want to see awards for and not me, not my podcast, Encounters USA, but there are guys like Vic Cundiff over at the Dogman Chronicles, and
you got it.
And he was kind of my inspiration, and Wes Germer at Sasquatch Chronicles. So guys like that that just went out on their own and started collecting the stories.
Yes.
So,
and I think you're going to be very pleased when you go to the website and see those guys actually nominated.
Yeah.
But we're going to also get some of the folks that are, very they might not be known at all.
Val, would you buy a used flying saucer from this?
Look at these guys. We've got friends of ours.
We're in the middle of an interview here.
We're live, you guys. So
no, it's
hang
okay.
on just a second.
We're not live. You're okay. You're okay. Come on over. We're just talking to Mike about the event. So, do you guys want to ask him a question or something? Probably better than mine.
This is Tom Davis and Val Von Torn from Metatron Power and Light. The most outrageous paranormal rock band. Matter of fact, you guys come around to this side and stand behind us. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, why don't you guys want to
stand
come
right here?
Right.
And then we're going to just kind of talk, because we're doing a promo. Come on, get over here. We're doing a promo for the actual performance tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. You're going to have to kind of squeeze down a little bit. Or do you want to pull this up? Should I pull the camera?
I think they're okay if you guys want it. Can you scrunch down a little bit? And so let's have an intro again.
And wave.
Good shot of my tie.
Oh, there you go. That's good enough.
Who are we looking at here?
We got Tom Davis.
Tom Davis.
The nice-looking gentleman, and the lovely lady is Val Von Torn.
All right, Von Torn.
The lead singer, backup and lead singer of the group, Metatron Power and Light. And by the way, these are the guys that actually helped me put together the new recording of the ballad of Mel's Hole.
I heard about that. Is that for sale?
It is for sale.
Oh,
I
right.
think. Did you bring
I bought 50 of them.
We got 50 copies for sale.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you so much for dropping in.
Popping in.
We our table is over there. You guys jump in with us on the other side. You'll see the UFO ID.
Maybe pick up that CD. Is it a CD or DVD?
It's a CD.
I'm behind the times.
Yeah.
So are you? If you
actually, at one point, we'll do a DVD, maybe with a music video, huh?
Yeah.
Of the Ballad of Mel's Hole. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But listen, this is fantastic that you're here covering this event for us.
Well,
I think this will be looked back upon from years from now going, this was the inaugural event.
Yeah, I was there.
And you were there and made it happen.
Yep. And next year you'll have somebody better looking than me to take my place, probably.
So, me too. Someone better looking than me, hopefully.
So, Carrie Cassidy of Project Camelot, is she going to be here?
I haven't heard that she was coming to this conference at all. And she probably didn't know that she's being nominated for an award, which she is.
Good.
But next year we're going to have to grab her.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, yeah, I love Carrie, so she's...
Maybe we'll get Linda Moulton Howe. Maybe we'll get Richard Dolan next year. You never know what we might be getting to come to this award ceremony.
Well, once they see this podcast, nobody's going to say no to this. So.
You got it.
So Michael, let's just... I know we're having fun, and this is a great time, but... let's look at the venue here. I love Ocean Shores.
Yes.
I love this casino.
You come here a lot.
Yeah. My wife and I do this a lot. So, and I just like it because it's close to Seattle, and I love the beach. So, love
it's so
walking
beautiful.
on the beach. So, what's so...
Miles and miles of flat beach.
Why did you pick this event to do this?
Because I tell you what, we were on the docket, the UFO I team, to present here anyway. Johnny Manson, who is the conference coordinator, always has the UFO I team show up. And I knew we were going to be here the first weekend of March. When I got the download a couple weeks prior to that, I said, what do I do with this? I said, oh my God, why don't I call Johnny and throw it by him? Yeah. He freaked out. He goes, my gosh, you're going to have Friday night to do whatever you need to do for an awards ceremony, because he's always been looking for something to kick off the conference with. And to have some excitement and buzz about. So that's how it happened so quickly that we had a major venue right here at the Quinault Beach Resort and Casino. And we want to thank the Quinault tribe. These guys have been phenomenal in coordinating this whole event for paranormals, as well as Johnny.
There
come over here, buddy.
On, Johnny.
Right around here in the back for just a second. You know, we were just talking about who's the coordinator of the Quinault Beach UFO Paranormal Summit. I'm sorry that I put you through this just with a phone call. I said, Johnny, what about the idea of the Academy of Paranormal Arts and Sciences awards ceremony on the first night?
And what did you say?
Okay.
Okay, sure, Michael.
Let's do
whatever.
When in doubt, wing it.
No, you're famous for that. You have the flexibility and the expertise to pull things off like Skype live performance and presenters coming into the Quinault Beach Resort and Casino. This is going to be fun tonight.
Where there is no internet, right?
No, we're live right now.
There was
It's
no
working.
internet. So,
No, it's working well.
so I said, Michael, I don't think there's internet in that casino, so you must have pulled off some magic.
He's good.
Pull some strings.
Yeah, so, all right. So, Michael, you're going to have to rest for a second because I want to find out.
You know what? I'm going to let you guys go because I have to go to the restroom.
Sure.
How about that? And I'm going to go
it here.
and then I have to rehearse for my speech. So you guys take over.
All right.
And
thanks
I'm
for stopping by,
going to move the camera just slightly so you can both
Mick
be
Jagger
in.
called. He wants those pants back.
Nice.
Well,
Huh?
I'm gonna have to
Look
get
at this.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Can you get in there? Where's the badge? Show the badge.
Oh yeah, I got the paranormal lawyer badge.
You're
right
busted.
there. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for coming by, Michael. Go to that bathroom. Okay, so Johnny Manson.
Now, I was there Tuesday.
You know,
I was waiting. I had headset, boom mic, laptop.
I hang my head in shame because I even
texted. We were doing this?
We were texting. I was Facebooking. We had a miscommunication. So if you saw the podcast with Mary and I was saying bad things about Johnny, that's why. It wasn't his fault. I'm an idiot. I didn't
see.
Well, I am. Because I didn't know that he was texting me. I was on Facebook, so it's hard to keep track. All right, so Johnny, I want to know about the history of the Paranormal Summit.
Okay. This actually started out in 2013 with the Sasquatch Summit. I have more of an expertise, not that I'm an expert in any way in Sasquatch, but I know more about Sasquatch than I do to UFOs, but because my family had a sighting when I was very young. My mom knows a lot about UFOs. She actually signals UFOs every night with a flashlight. Come get me, alien brothers, that kind of thing. But a couple of years of the Sasquatch Summit, and I was approached to do a UFO paranormal type conference, kind of like the Sasquatch Summit. And I was like, hey, I can do that, and so here we are, some years later, and we're still going.
So the Sasquatch Summit is November, and the Paranormal Summit is March.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And do you find the same turnout in each?
Some of the same people, yeah, like guests.
But I mean the numbers.
Oh, the numbers.
The same.
The UFO is up there with Sasquatch right now, but we haven't been doing UFOs long. So I'm assuming it's going to eclipse Sasquatch because it just seems like the world of UFO research, ufology, enthusiasts, witnesses, experiencers is kind of bigger than Sasquatch. So, and then with the UFO/paranormal, there are paranormal aspects of Sasquatch. And then there's some like Sasquatch involvement with UFOs, to where there's witness reports of a UFO landing and a Sasquatch either getting off of or going onto a UFO. So it's kind of the best of both worlds in this one. So,
well, that's where we're coming from, Johnny. Is we think UFOs and Bigfoot have a connection. Mm-hmm. Possibly Dogman portals have a connection.
Right.
So, there's all kinds of things. Potential for this summit, and one of the things I know that Michael was interested in is what I'm doing is I'm aliens, Bigfoot, and Dogman. And I think Michael, and it kind of sounds like you are going that route as well, where it's just not one, but they're all actually probably related.
Right, and that was the whole kind of idea of the UFO / paranormal.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I was trying to get in more kind of ghost presenters, researchers, and things, and it's harder for me to get them here. We do have some groups that come, and it's just I'm not as, I guess, good at communicating with the ghost world to bring those speakers here. I've been trying, so it's just to throw that in there too, because ghosts are kind of paranormal too, right? I would think.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Are you getting any resistance from maybe UFO people saying, I'm not going to a Bigfoot, or Bigfoot people saying, I'm not going to a UFO event?
That's a good question. And I saw a presentation online of David Paulides, who's here this weekend. He was at a MUFON conference, and he had said something that really kind of sparked something for me about the similarities, and then also the differences, but between the UFO group and the Sasquatch group. And one of the similarities is, sometimes they're just not nice to each other. Sometimes all the people here are great to each other, and we kind of want it that way. But it just depends. You have great researchers like Ron Moorhead, who started out in Sasquatch and then kind of discovered that, hey, I think there's more to these than just, dumb mountain gorillas or whatever, and believes that there's a connection, right? And he's beloved in the Sasquatch community, and he speaks at both types of events, and everybody welcomes him and embraces him, and he's great. And there's other people like that kind of fit in both realms. But yeah, to answer your question, there are people that do that. They're like, I'm not going to be involved in that. But I don't think there's as many as there used to be. So anyway. Yeah,
it really does seem like this is the wave of the future, and it really. I don't, because you're not into the UFO community so much.
I'm not as versed in it.
So one thing that I'd really like to talk to Nick Pope about, and one thing that I would like people to start discussing is that there just seems to be people that kind of direct the discussion, this month it's Antarctic aliens, and next month it's the secret space program. And so I wonder, is somebody directing this? So anyway, because you have the Nick Popes and who are some other people that we have
here?
Yeah, well, not here, but in the UFO, Stanton Friedman. I can never forget his name, but these guys seem to have the Corey Goods. They seem to direct the discussion. And so I always wonder if who's directing them,
Right.
So these are all questions that I love to ask. So anyway,
but at least you're asking the questions.
Yeah.
A lot of people just accept things.
I know. Yeah, I don't. I'm too suspicious.
Right.
So.
And we should be suspicious. We should be questioning things and questioning the other people, questioning the questions.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Well. It never ends, but okay. So, Johnny, can you tell us, you have a radio show down here?
Yeah, I do a morning show here on KJET,
okay.
And it's a hot AC. It's kind of like new music and stuff. But then I do a Friday morning commentary on our news talk station, and where I just kind of complain about things, whether it's the politics or somebody dumping garbage in the woods or somebody texting and driving or Common Core or whatever. And then I do a Strange Harbor show on KBKW AM and FM, and then online kbkw.com, which we talk about just strange things, Sasquatch and ghosts and conspiracies and near death. My co-host was a Vietnam vet. He died on the battlefield of Vietnam. He was blown up by a friendly bomb, if that makes sense, right? A friendly bomb. But he saw the other side and then came back because it wasn't his time, and got shot 5 times, and then but still survived, still got to where he needed to go, and he wrote a book about it called If Morning Never Comes. His name is Bill Vandenbush. So he's my co-host, and he's like the pro on near death and things like that. So so we talk about that, and then I do kind of a political show on Saturdays also with a professor. He's a history professor from California that has moved up here. So I kind of keep a little busy. Sorry, you asked. I'm just kind of rattling.
No, I'm just going, how come I'm not on your show?
You're more than welcome to. Okay. Well, this next Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but the next Sunday, if you would like to be on Strange Harbor, we would love to have you.
I want to be on.
Okay.
Next Sunday, so not this Sunday?
Right.
But okay. I'll pencil it in.
Because this Sunday we have Mary Joyce of Skyships Over Cashiers, and that's an amazing kind of deal there. But anyway.
I'm running for governor.
Are you really?
I am. Throwing in I ran for the Senate. We'll talk about this on the show, but
okay.
I ran for the Senate in 2018. And I got about 8,000 votes. So
we got to have you on the other show too.
Yeah, because I was told by the Republicans they don't want anything to do with me because I'm just too liberal. They said you're too liberal for the Democrats.
Wow.
So yeah, you should have me on.
A man without a party, huh?
Yeah, I have. Well, I have plans.
Okay. So we'll have you on both shows. Yeah,
okay.
That's great.
All right. Well, what a tangent to get off of. Well, Johnny, I know you're probably busy, so I'm going to let you get back to your duties. But,
thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for doing this. This is so fantastic, and it's so nice to talk to you every time.
Coronavirus.
So, yeah. Always, I keep doing that. Yeah. My wife's going to kill me. All right. Well, Johnny, thanks a lot, and good luck with the event.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. We have our first, I think I'm going to have you scoot over here. Mike, can you scoot over just a little bit? Let's center on this little frame here. So I have Michael, say it again, Brian. It sounds like a lion. And I love to promote authors. And I saw this book, so I said, hey, wait a minute, look at this. This is right up my alley. So the book is The Road to Strange. And right now, Mike and I are sitting at the Paranormal Summit 2020 in Ocean Shores. So, Michael, welcome. This is your first time on Encounters USA.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming here, and thank you for spending a couple minutes to do the podcast. So you are here. We're waiting to get the event set up. Right behind us is the event itself, but there's nobody here. So we're just talking to Michael for a little bit. So tell me about The Road to Strange.
The Road to Strange is a series of books that I created along with Rosemary Ellen Guiley. Bless her soul, she passed away last July. And very, very sad. Rosemary was, I'm going to say, probably the world's preeminent expert on subjects of the paranormal, and she also excelled in her knowledge of the field of ufology. And she knew that I had been collecting stories for years that ran the gamut of everything and anything that can happen to you when you're traveling. But I also had a sub-collection of UFO stories that I interviewed people about. But I would ask people, do you have anything that was really great, good, wonderful, bad, horrible, horrendous from hell stories? Or anything unusual? And guess what? Easily 5% of all the stories people told me were strange stories. And they covered areas of UFOs and paranormal. And so Rosemary knew I'd been doing that for years, and we'd been friends. I knew her from the late 80s, met her around the time we were all going through crop circles in England and trying to figure out what that was all about. And she said, Michael, why don't we do a book together or a series? And we came up with The Road to Strange. And we have 2 books so far. The Road to Strange, Travel Tales of the Paranormal, and there's the notion of travel tales. And then The Road to Strange, UFOs, Aliens, and High Strangeness. And Rosemary and I had begun thinking about our 3rd book when she passed away unexpectedly and sadly. And her husband, Joe Red Miles, at some point is going to pick up and continue the company. And perhaps we'll do a 3rd book, The Road to Strange, and honor Rosemary in the process of that.
Okay. Michael, one thing that we deal with on Encounters USA is strangeness. We like remote viewing. We like connections between Bigfoot and aliens. We like connections between Bigfoot and 411 missing people. So what is your take on high strangeness in your book, The Road to Strange?
I've broached the subject of the paranormal and UFOs in my interviews with people with two mantras in mind. When I say mantra, it's two ideas that people say or present when they're telling their experiences. And one is, I know what I saw. I know what I saw. I know what I saw. And you have to think that these people are very sincere and they've had experiences. And the second mantra, which leads right from that, is if but one of these is true. And when people begin to talk about a lot of their experiences, it's very easy to see that at least one of these experiences is real and true. You don't have to believe everything that everybody tells you. For example, this is an interesting thing. When we wrote the first one of the series, The Road to Strange Travel Tales of the Paranormal, all of a sudden I realized, my God, I have 5 or 6 of my own experiences. Most of which was during my travels. And I really began to think about that. And I know that my experiences, as far as I'm concerned, to me were real, and I feel like they gave evidence of the paranormal. So I tell you, more than one of my experiences was true. I'm the writer of the book, and I get the license to do that. But I tried to look into why people were having experiences, say, while they're traveling, and of course while they're not traveling. And I came up with an interesting kind of discovery, and that came from my studies of the psychology of travel, which is really behind all this. I ultimately did a PhD in social psychology at the University of Hawaii, if you can believe that. And so I began to study the whole idea of what's the psychology behind travel. And then I began to think about, okay, where does the paranormal come in? How is it that I had a bunch of personal experiences that were bordering on the paranormal? And I started to examine that, and I came to a couple of conclusions. Now, it's not rocket science, but I'll tell you that these conclusions came from my collecting these stories and writing about them and interviewing people. And one is, when you go traveling, you're really open. You open yourself up. You allow things to come in. You're not as critical of new experiences. In fact, you seek these new experiences. Why? Because we want novelty. We want to grow personally. We want to increase our self-esteem. We want to increase our self-confidence. We want to be more of all that we can be. And for the same token, this openness lets us also open to things that are not that conventional all the time. And therefore, people have paranormal experiences in their travels. And another thing, too, I noticed that some of my experiences centered around being safe and being secure. So I think the very basic of all human needs, in Maslow's pyramid of human needs, we've all had that in a Psychology 101 course, haven't we? And the most basic need for people is to be safe and secure. So I say that when we're traveling, that's going into operation as well. From being more of who we can be and being open, and being safe and secure.
Yeah.
And that's where that comes in.
So, Michael, you've detailed different paranormal experiences that you have: UFOs, aliens, and high strangeness. High strangeness being paranormal.
High strangeness is anything that seems out of the mundane and ordinary that you don't have a ready explanation about. And I would include in that, for example, stories of synchronicities, coincidences that seem to have greater meaning than just being a chance happening. In my case, I have had several quintuple synchronicity. 5 things all incredibly unbelievable happening together. And I've had a couple of triple ones, 3 different things coming into play, and I've had the kinds of synchronicities that most all of us have, and that is seeing somebody show up in the most unexpected places, and you just don't think it's necessarily by chance.
Yeah. See, none of that stuff happens to me because I can't accept it. It'd blow my mind, and that'd be it. So if I'm traveling, what am I more likely to encounter? Am I going to encounter like ghosts, spirits, UFOs?
If you're open-minded to this, I would say that a lot of the stories go in the directions of hauntings, ghosts, unusual appearances, presence, poltergeist, strange things like that. Maybe we could label it as ghosts, but it could be ranging from objects flying off of shelves to actually seeing apparitions.
Yeah.
And that can happen.
Yeah. Now, I'm a dull person, never had anything happen to me, but we were talking earlier about my background, like I taught in the Middle East, and I'm going to tell you a story.
Okay.
I think Michael wants to interview me for some of my stories that I've encountered, but here's one. When I was in the Sultanate of Oman, I taught these students that were college age, and all these boys said, "Oh, come out to this. There's a wadi, which is we call it an oasis." So we're jumping in the water. It's like 150 degrees. It's just smoking hot. And they go, they said, there's a cave up on the mountain. I said, well, let's go to that cave. And they said, it's very dangerous. And I said, no, let's go. It's not dangerous. So we went to the cave. We had to hike a long way and went through all these wadis, whatever. And we got to basically a hole in the mountain, and we had to get down and crawl in. And we're in not even like 10, 15 feet in. And the first of the kids go, that's it. Go back. And I said, why? They said, it's dangerous. They said, there's jinn. You know jinn? Jinn is ghosts in Arabic. So I said, no, going back. And they took we had 3 flashlights, they took 1. So then we got 2 flashlights, and I was with this kid his dad was a major in the Omani army, so he's brave. So he and I, we continued on, and another guy followed us. And we got to like an opening, we stood up, and then there's a pool running in there. And all these kids are going, okay, that's it, let's go. I go, why are you so scared? They said, because these people they died in here. They don't speak English very well. But the story is that these people, they found dead in there. And they had a camera. And when they developed the film, there's all these ghosts on the camera.
But they were bodies.
And the police found, according to the story, So these kids, that was it. They told me the story. Let's go. So I said, no, wait. They said you're too dangerous. And so anyway, but that was my one real. I mean, they have a ton of ghost stories there.
Well, I hope we could get a chance to do an interview. Yeah. If not here this weekend, I could certainly meet you in Redmond.
Oh yeah. Well, we can.
Or
do
you
it
could come
Skype.
to Bainbridge or Skype.
Yeah.
I live on Bainbridge Island. So.
Oh well, I'll come to Bainbridge.
Yeah. No. I always someday on my epitaph, I was going to say, he could always use another story. Even though I've interviewed about 1,800 people already, I could use your stories.
Well, I got 3 500-page books, so I got plenty of stories.
That's great.
Well, all right. So, Michael Bryan, as in lion, nice to meet you, and thanks for showing up on this interview, and good luck here at the event.
Thank you.
I hope you sell a lot of books, and I will have Mike's links. These are on Amazon, right?
They're available on Amazon.
So I'll have the links on the description to this video.
Okay, thank you. So come by and grab a business card.
All right, I will do that.
Thanks.
Thanks, fun. Michael. You take care.
Enjoy.
Number 1.
Okay. Do you want me to turn it?
Oh, what happened here? No, you don't have to face me. We're just gonna kind of look at that. All right. Sorry if I have fish breath. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. We are back at the Paranormal Summit, and this lovely lady here is the newest addition to the UFO I team. Her name is Tammy, and we don't know anything else about her, but the first thing we want to know is what convinced you to join the UFO I team?
One of the other members of the UFO I team, Lee, is friend. We have mutual friends, and I got to know him, and then we're both experiencers.
Okay, so it was Lee that brought you in.
It was.
Okay. Was there any particular, the UFO I team has like engineers, they have Michael Hall, the lawyer. What skills are you bringing to the I team?
I have a past life in tech, so I've done time at Microsoft and Amazon.com.
Like past life reincarnation?
No,
Oh,
like
okay.
past life now. So I come from a background of tech.
Okay.
Yeah, most recent.
I'm looking for somebody. I'm doing a new, an alternative to YouTube. Can you help me with that?
I could help maybe brainstorm. I'm not super technical, but
Okay, because what I'm looking for is I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
I just want to put YouTube out of business.
I would be behind that.
Really? Okay, great. And then we're going after Google. So,
Okay, yeah.
but YouTube first. So Tammy, how long have you been with the I team?
A few weeks. So I joined and then I went to Egypt. So I just got back from Egypt.
Egypt?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we have all kinds of things in common. Did you do the Nile cruise?
I did.
All right.
8
Well,
days, yeah.
awesome. And you did Luxor and
The Sphinx.
did you get all the way to?
Aswan.
Yeah, that's where we got to.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to go all the way to Abu Simbel.
Oh,
So-
you missed the best one.
Oh,
I'm
I know,
sorry.
that's what everybody
I hate
says.
to say that, but
Yeah, that's what everybody
Abu Simbel
says.
was amazing.
Oh, okay. So you went inside the pyramids and everything?
did.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, then I have to ask you this since we're here, and maybe we can talk some other time. But when you were in the pyramid, when did you go? You must have been winter,
No, it was just a couple weeks ago.
right? So it was winter there.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
So it's freezing cold. Wasn't
At
it
night.
freezing? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you get inside that pyramid, and it's so hot. Right?
And it smells weird because of the bats.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't understand because it was freezing cold outside, and then we went inside. I'm going, where is this heat coming from?
Yeah, it's really hot.
So, is your paranormal interest? Did that take you to Egypt?
I've always wanted to go to Egypt, but I find that they are a little bit intertwined.
Okay. Yeah. Same here. So,
Kind of where it all began, I think.
Yeah.
For some of us.
yeah. And so, can you just give us a little bit of your background, like in the paranormal? Have you experienced stuff? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So from the age of about 6 years old, I started to see ghosts. And then that didn't really go over well with my family. So I kind of learned to keep these things to myself. At 19, I had gray aliens come in my bedroom.
Holy cow.
And I was kind of frozen, which I've talked about in one of the calls with the UFOI team. And then later, people that I would know when they would pass away would come and sit on the end of my bed and say goodbye or bring messages. And then recently, about 2 years ago, I had always seen UFOs, like randomly, but it really intensified. And I had an amazing experience with like a mothership outside my bedroom situation. And then that triggered like a spiritual awakening.
Can you give me the general area where you're seeing these things?
Yep. So, I'm born and raised in Seattle.
Okay.
So most of the time I'll see them, but I see them on airplanes sometimes if I travel. They'll be outside.
Okay, so are we talking North Seattle, South Seattle?
Like Burien area.
So the
by
airport.
the airport.
Okay.
Yep.
So the last time I interviewed Lee, they were doing a research project because they were seeing UFOs right there.
Yep.
And really, where they were seeing the UFOs, were you involved in that?
The research project? No.
Okay, because they had some people that had invited them in, and when I looked at where those UFOs were, it was actually over Homeland Security.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, you are an amazing member to the team. So you have a background in tech, and you've had experiences. Have you had any experiences outside of aliens or paranormal, like Bigfoot? Or
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
I just really, it seems so far-fetched, but I feel like all these things are connected. So cryptids, UFOs, ghosts, consciousness, I feel it's all.
Well, Tammy, guess what?
It's time.
We're going to start. So I think maybe we'll try to pick this up tomorrow, maybe do a part 2 or some other time
Great.
we can get
Thank
you
you.
on.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you, Tammy.
Nice to
Welcome
meet
to
you.
the I-Team. I'm like a poor relative for the I-Team. So yeah, so I'm really Encounters USA, but when they need to use me, I'm I-Team.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank
You're
you.
going to need it.
Okay, thanks.
So before we get into our final event of what happened, I just want to explain that it is really grated on me that I've come all this way to interview this person. It's after 8 o'clock. I just managed to get some French fries and some oily pieces of fish in my stomach, and I was extremely tired. But in order to fulfill my task that I was assigned by Michael Hall, I sat down and started listening to Mr. Paulides' lecture. Now, it wasn't very long, in fact, probably 2 minutes into the lecture when I realized, you know what? He's going to talk about his movie, and it's going to be the same lecture, the same stories I've heard on every podcast that I've listened to with David Paulides. Oh, yes, how he got approached by 2 park rangers, and then he couldn't get the data for the girl, the 14-year-old girl that was kidnapped up by Mount Shasta. So I realized it was just going to be the same warmed over stuff, and I shut off my camera. And at that time, he chose to tell me I couldn't film his presentation. Now, I didn't care to film his presentation. I wasn't filming his presentation. But this picture here shows you him telling me you can't film my presentation. Now, the confusion. Michael Hall wants me to film. I'm not filming. David Paulides says I can't film, but I'm not filming. And I'm hungry. And I don't want to see this crap again. And I don't want to film it. And so all of that just kind of congealed in my brain and came out with, you are a freaking jerk. And not only that did I say that, but I also said, I'm here for the UFO I-Team to film this. And you are a friggin' jerk. Now, let me just say that no, I am not happy about it. And there's no excuse for talking to somebody like that. And I apologized the next day when I saw Mr. Paulides, but he just walked off. And when I talked to Michael Hall the next day, well, you'll see in the next podcast. But this is what happened. This is what happened with David Paulides, and I hope that on this video and on this podcast, you've been able to enjoy the authors like Michael Bryan, and also the work that Michael Hall and Johnny Manson put into this production, and myself as well, I guess. So, with that, this is the end of part 1 of the Paranormal Summit of 2020 and the Academy of Arts and Sciences Awards in Ocean Shores. And I'm Matthew Hines for Encounters USA. And I just want to remind you, no matter what you're doing, especially in these days of the coronavirus, always wash. That's wash your back. Thanks for joining us on Encounters USA. Remember, if you have comments, please leave them in the comment section on YouTube and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell while you're at it. Don't forget, if you'd like to be a guest on Encounters USA, just send us an email at encountersusa1@gmail.com and just put podcast guest in the subject line. Now, please remember that all of the guests' opinions on Encounters USA are their own, and they do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the podcast host nor the podcast sponsors. So thank you, and don't forget, when you're out in the woods looking for aliens, Bigfoot, or Dogman, always watch your back.